Right, I'm catching up now with Glen Conroy after the win with Aplomb here at Bendigo.
Yep.
Firstly, Glen, congratulations.
Thanks, Paulie. I was a little bit surprised that she started so short. She was coming out of 7 over 16.50. And when I was going around, we score up from the winning post, I heard him say she'd been back from 12s to 4s. So I thought, I hope they're good judges.
And they were.
They were, yeah.
Which is always good. Her form's actually a little bit, well, it's not flattering, I suppose. She's now had 16 starts for 2 wins, but you were saying there she's been racing in some very good company of late.
Yeah, she's been racing in 3-year-olds, and she ran a 5th in the Maryborough Trotters Oaks, and she ran a 6th in the heat of the Sires, 7th in the heat of the Sires, and then she went in the bronze Sires. And they're all in races with better horses, and the form analysts must have realised that as well, because the first night that she raced away from the 3-year-olds, she was backed and went and came from near last and won as well, so it was a good effort.
She's a quirky little filly. I won't say she's a sweet little filly by any stretch of the imagination, but a lovely type, a typical wishing stone, a little bit short, but other than that, she looks a nice type.
Yeah, I've been talking her up for a while. I've been saying it to different people, I reckon she'll be all right, and Lyndall is a big fan of hers. And Roy, the bloke that owns her, at one stage he was getting a bit disillusioned, Roy Spencer, and he said he might sell her, and Lyndall and I would have been quite prepared to buy her because she's a terrible good stayer, and as you know, stayers as they get older they come to the forefront. So
and the wishing stones get better with age too, don't they?
They do indeed, yeah. So the trouble was she wasn't earning a lot of money and she was having a lot of starts, and you can only live on credit for so long, so but yeah, she's done a really good job tonight, and Anne-Marie is going well with it, and we're very pleased with that.
It's quite one of those funny little things, actually. You probably got no chance of buying her nails. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter at all. And as you said, Anne-Marie's doing a great job. She's actually off Hosen, as is Katrina.
I'm more of a conversation man, and they're workers,
But we are going to pass our condolences on to the Lee family, and just to have a little brief discussion about Dickie Lee and the passing of him. A sad day for trotting, and a sad day for the VSTA.
Sad, but celebrate his life as well. A man that's 89, had a lot of success, had a lovely wife with Jean, and a lovely life with Jean, travelled around the world. Yeah. Your time comes. So I always remember a line I stole from Dickie. Dickie had been having a good run, and then he hadn't had a Metropolitan win for a while. And he came back in Moonee Valley, and the bloke was interviewing him, he said, "When did you have your last win here, Dickie?" And he said, "Just then, didn't you see it?" I always thought that was a good line. And Dick enjoyed a laugh, and he was. I read in his valet today that he was very good at giving out advice, and he was as well. And we swapped horses with Dickie a bit through his career. Like, he had got horses that we had, and we had horses that he had, and I always got along with him very well. And when I was green and wet behind the ears, I went to the first trotting dinner, and they said, "And by the way, Dickie Lee's going to sing for us later on the night." And I laughed out loud because I thought it was like saying, "Oh, Glen Conroy's going to sing for us later on the night." I thought they were making a joke. And he was a tremendous singer, and he'd sing 4 or 5 songs, and one of his favourites was "Take Me Home Again, Kathleen," which he used to always sing to Kath Ford, because Kathleen, yeah. So everyone's got a lot of facets you don't realise aside from harness racing, and that was one of his. He was a champion singer.
Well, a lot of people would probably remember him as the trainer of Rufus Youngblood and a couple of the night game Evian Trotters, but his journey, I was lucky enough, I sat down with him a few times, and I remember he was a ranger at the showgrounds, and you wonder what a ranger is, but basically a track man, and looked after the whole place. I can't remember the number of horses he took, but shipped them to England. Both he and Ray Green are the two gentlemen that are quite funny. They're both very similar men, very witty as well. But just so you listen to those journeys, I can't remember, I think it was 6 weeks they were on a boat with these horses, and they were topside. Like, they weren't protected by the weather or anything else like that. He had such a fascinating story to tell. He is a loss to the industry because he has got so many great stories. Yeah,
well, I can tell you one when he lost his sense of humour. He was leading up the straight at Moonee Valley, and it was when they had a rail, and I got to his inside and he squeezed me back out, and when I was coming back off the track, Neil Creamy, who was taking the photos, he let Dickie go past, and he took a photo of me running second. He was that sure that I'd get the protest. And we went into the room, and Dickie was arguing his case, and I was arguing my case. And Dickie said, "I didn't know I was going in with Perry Mason." Anyhow, they upheld the protest. And it took Dickie a day or two to get over it, as it does. But to his credit, he bounced back, and I was always pleased to be a mate of his, and he was like my father's generation. You know, they were legends when they were racing, not when they retired from racing. They were legends when they were racing. So, we'll celebrate Dickie's life. We won't shed a tear for him.
With the trotters, it was interesting. I put the post up today with the last time he was at the VSTA Awards, and I was lucky enough to have him to be able to sit down and have a little bit of a chat with him. But one of the things that blew me away, all of his trotters at that time were pacing bred sires. They weren't pacing bred dams. Yeah. Which is just amazing when you think of the quality of the trotters that he had over the journey. And I mean, that's how hard it was back in those times.
Yeah, for sure. And Dickie was very much self-contained. Like him and Gene would pretty well do all the work himself. Gene would harness him up and Dickie would take him out. And even though he had a really good team and a really strong team, he was never a man to have a big entourage of blokes helping him or anything like that. You know, it was just him and Gene, you know, to and from the races. So nowadays you see blokes like me to stand around and do all the talking and other people are doing the work. But Dickie was very much hands-on, but didn't have a lot of people. I can name blokes that helped him, but he was very much his own man and liked to do everything himself as well. And
such a decorated person. We're talking today with a Graham mate of mine, Troy Harley, and we were saying about Rufus Youngblood. And he was a man that flanked the vice president when JFK was killed, and this guy was, Dick had met the man and remembered him and said, I'm going to name a horse after this guy. And of course, you know, that horse went on to be a superstar, the first horse ever to win 4 derbies, and just a freak of a horse, incidentally a pacer too, which was quite funny. But then if you type in Rufus Youngblood, if you go home and type in Rufus Youngblood into your search engine, you'll actually find the story on Rufus Youngblood, the Secret Service agent. Yes. But Dick Lee is in there with the photos. Yeah. And the horse. He was able to connect with so many people. Yeah.
And Rufus Youngblood, Dickie told the story about how he ran beside the car. This is the man, not the horse, for something like 30 miles holding onto the car while the president, this is before the president was shot, obviously, before while he was protecting the president, you know, so he ran along beside the car. So that's what gave Dickie the idea that if he was such a champion bloke, that he would name the horse after him.
I was looking for that today, so I'm happy. Troy Harley, you can watch that one. You can watch that one, and you'll know, Troy, that actually I was trying to explain that to Troy, but but
he was the bodyguard, and he was a Secret Service man, and he would run beside the car. So the president's in the car, you know, and meet and greeting the people. And poor old Rufus is running along beside the car, and it was something like 30 miles he ran, you know, from one town to the other. So it's not a bad effort, is it?
No, there was a shock that they didn't realise he was actually running, I think, is one of the stories. They thought he was riding along the side, but he was actually running along the side. And and as I said, when JFK was shot, I think he did. He was over the top of the vice president in case they're going to try and take him out, as they do in America. How will he be remembered?
I think he'll be remembered fondly. There weren't too many blokes that had a cross word with him or a bad word about him. So, you know, a long honour list of feature races that he's won. A lot of times he competed. Wasn't one of those blokes who was looking for a blue. Loved to tell a story, loved to have a joke. When we used to go to the VSTA nights, he was one of the pioneers of the VSTA, and then he would run the show. You know, he'd be on the mic and run the show, and we'll remember him as a really nice bloke and a hard-working bloke, and we tip our hats to you, Dickie.
Yeah, no, very well said. Incredibly witty. Even in that last one that I posted, I forgot how witty he is, and you're sitting there watching him, and he knows he had centre stage, and I think it's a great job. Some of the stories you hear back in the day with your dad, with Cole Redwood, trying to get everything up and going, and to get like Redwood Carnival that's coming up now. Yeah. They wouldn't have been these carnivals without the drive of people like Dick and your dad and Cole, so many founders of the VSCA.
Yeah, that's for sure. And as Eddie Tapp would know, that's standing behind you holding his hand up. We've covered it pretty well, but he was a really nice bloke. You know, there's some blokes that have a lot of success, and perhaps I don't know whether they were shits of blokes before they started, or whether the success makes them shits of blokes, but they don't handle success very well. But Dickie could win the Australasian Trotters Championship, and then we want to know how you went straight after the race. You know, so that's hats off to him.
He was happy winning it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what we're all out here for, aren't we? We're all win.
Glenn, well done. Thank you very much. Thanks for those kind words as well. And Valet Dickie Lee.
Yeah, well, I was resisting the impulse to have a joke, but I think Dickie would have enjoyed it anyway.
Dickie would be quite funny about that one there, so it won't make one bit of difference. Anyone wondering who's cuddling me? That's my sister-in-law. Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah, it wouldn't have hurt to cuddle me first, Karen, and then...
I forgot the camera.